Welcome back, you're watching Business Spotlight. Being proudly South African means buying local to create jobs, adopting fair labour practices, taking environmental responsibility and delivering high-quality goods and services. One South African business is doing all this and more. CNBC Africa's Nadira Peer visited SA Gifts in Johannesburg to find out what makes them homegrown.
Beatrice Delpierre and her brother Ryle both had a passion for business and a passion for community upliftment. So in a bold social entrepreneurial step, they combined the two and started a proudly South African business. Now, what makes a business proudly South African?
There are 4 key pillars of the campaign. One is we focus on local content. It's quite important that membership requires at least 50% local content, high quality, adherence to fair labor practice, and environmental awareness.
Beatrice and Ryle source and manufacture gift items using local designers and manufacturers.
So we go then to the corporates and say, look, this is what we do. But if you buy from us, we manufacture locally, you will create more jobs and reduce the crime. Because that is really how we measure this company, not about how much money we earn, but how many jobs we create. And for us here in South Africa, it's important to create jobs because we will reduce the crime that way. Our core business is ceramics, hand-painted ceramics. So each and every item will be completely unique because various people will paint these. We also do leather and wood diaries and filofaxes and journals. We also manufacture conference bags. That's also a big business for us, the conferences, because they always need a conference bag. And then we've got a very, very nice new project we're involved with. It's called I Was Shot.
The ceramic factory is one of their success stories. From 4 employees, the factory now has a workforce of 31 full-time members. While Beatrice manages the business from Cape Town, Ryle is responsible for Johannesburg, including I Was Shot. I Was Shot is made up of a group of trigger-happy teenage boys from the Twilight Children's Shelter in Hillbrow, Johannesburg. The boys between the ages of 16 and 18 are being trained by photographer and architect Bernard Viljoen. Armed with cameras, they take to the streets every Monday afternoon and capture the sights, sounds and even silences of the intricate city.
Basically, when I met Bernard from I Was Shot, they have exhibition. They had an exhibition with these photos that the boys took, and I said to him, "Let's develop this into product." And then originally I said to him, but we need to develop products that the corporates will buy, and that's exactly what SA Gifts does, is that we will always assess the needs in our industry. So we started with journals that we took the photographs and we actually the outside, and then it's all recycled paper, and that's very important to us at SA Gifts. Whatever we do it needs to be eco-friendly. The next step was to develop marks, because we obviously have to brand it for our clients. And this is the marks we developed with Bernard. And when we take an image for our clients, say for instance, the Institute of Retirement Funds approach us and they say that we have a specific theme about communications this year, we do with the boys a photo shoot and brief them on that subject, and then we will put the picture by a decal on the end of the mic.
SA Gifts' biggest competitors are China and India.
They're much bigger country than us, so they can produce much faster against cheaper labour. We have very strict labour laws, which I think is the right thing to do. We have a country, we won the fair labour fight, and we should base on it. But it translates into a country like South Africa, where we have the highest cost communications, labour, that the products will become more expensive. So we can, certain bags come from China and its landing cost of 20 Rand. The cheapest we can produce it for is 90, 100 Rand. So it's actually understanding that it's not about cost at the end of the day. It's about supporting local industries to grow to the place where we actually have the buying power that China and India have.
As a corporate gifting company, we actually the one and only South African manufacturing company. We don't actually have local people competing with us. So when we say, okay, this is the price of the product, there's nothing we can't get 3 additional quotes for government because that's niche. We don't have competitors. And I think it's a big problem because the more entrepreneurs we've got, like that's the people that create jobs, because the corporates are so saturated. You know, they can't employ more and more people quickly. So, for example, to set up a show, we employ casual labourers to help us to build the stands, to carry the stuff, you know, and that's jobs that people wouldn't have had if we didn't have the exposure.
Proudly South African recently held their 5th annual Homegrown Awards. The ceremony celebrates the best Proudly South African companies, products and the people involved.
South Africans, we need to become more globally competitive. We need to shift the debate and in fact step up the gear and make sure that our discussions around job creation, at the center of those that debate has to be the question of enterprise development.
SA Gifts were runners-up in the CSI of the Year category. Through the Proudly South African initiative, it's really the smaller businesses that government has turned its attention to. The room for growth in such businesses provides the opportunity for government to achieve its mandate of creating employment and eradicating poverty.